Hello and happy Thursday. It's Thursday. And we are here with our reading. And today's going to be a fun one because I needed a little color and love in my life. I mean, I guess Tuesday had a lot of color too, but whatever. So we are reading Yayoi Kusama, From Here to Infinity today, written by Sarah Suzuki and illustrated by Ellen Weinstein. So I know some of my first and second graders read this with Miss Palladino, but it's a good story with a cool artist. All right, From Here to Infinity. Yayoi Kusama was born in the country of Japan, on the island of Honshu, in a town called Matsumoto City. And an old palace made of wood and stone overlooked a moat where swans swam. The streets were lined with little shops, and snow-capped mountains rose in the distance, swallowing up the sun as it went down in the evening. Another plane passing over. I'm hearing lots of planes today when it's been like silent recently in the air. So I'm going to wait for that plane to pass over. It's like the third one in a row. I've had to restart this video a couple of times. Not restarting. Bye, plane. Goodbye. Give me my airspace back. Alright, so here's her beautiful living space with the wood and stone castle and the beautiful bridge and snow-peaked mountains and the cherry blossoms. Love it. Been to Japan 3 times. Very cool there. Yayoi's family owned nurseries where all kinds of flowers and vegetables grew, and workers tended the plants as they matured from seed to sprouts to stalks. But Yayoi yearned for a different life. Far from the countryside, she dreamed about what lay beyond the mountains and places far from Matsumoto City. She longed to leave home and see the world. Whereas we probably long to leave our homes and see her world right now. I love it. Beautiful colors. Yayoi's mother wanted her to Yayoi's mother wanted her to stay home and learn old-fashioned manners, how to dress elegantly, walk demurely, eat politely, and find a proper husband. But Yayoi wanted to be an artist. Every day she went outside with ink and brushes and paper. She drew things she saw and things she imagined. She looked closely at the pebbles that lined the riverbed and at the leaves and stalks of plants, and she drew them as chains of tiny cells that looked like dots. Foreshadowing. When she was older and studying in art school, her teachers disapproved of her work, and they demanded that Yayoi paint in the traditional, precise Japanese style. She wanted to go where she could live without rules. I don't need your stinking rules. When she was 28 years old, she packed up her silk kimonos and thousands of drawings and stuffed dollar bills into the toes of her shoes. It was her first airplane trip. There were only 4 other passengers, and the weather was stormy with rain and lightning. The airplane wobbled and dipped as it flew to America. That would have been scary. She was probably afraid people would take her money, so she put it in the toes of her shoes to hide it. In New York, Yayoi went to the top of the Empire State Building, and the tallest building in a city full of tall buildings. When she looked down, she saw buses and cars and yellow taxis zooming up and down the avenues, and bankers and teachers and artists rushing to work. From up on the 86th floor, they looked like dots. She felt very far from quiet Matsumoto City and her mother's rules. Here it seemed anything was possible. New York, New York, the city where dreams come true, so they say. Yayoi set about turning her drawings of dots into paintings. The dollar bills that she had brought to America quickly ran out, and she spent what little money she had left on paints and canvases. She worked day and night. She painted when she was cold, she painted when she was hungry, she painted when she was lonely, and she turned her dots into sculptures too, into soft stuffed tubes that covered sofas and chairs and boats. Lots of dots. Dots everywhere. She was devoted to her dots. For her, they were a way of thinking about the world among the stars as one dot among millions of others. They were a way of thinking about infinity. Excuse me, kitty, I'm doing a story. Infinity. Made her think. So if you think about that, infinity, when you look up into the stars, and you just see big dots and tiny dots, and you go on and on and on to infinity and beyond. Sometimes, when she grew frustrated, she visited the Museum of Modern Art. She gazed at paintings by other artists, and she thought about why and how they were made. She looked at pictures of dancing girls and swirling night skies, trying to solve them as if they were puzzles. Oh, puzzles into the artist's brain, perhaps. That's an old Mondrian. That's Reuben? My brain is dying. Matisse. What is it, Thursday? It feels like a Monday. Van Gogh, the Surrealist. Man Ray. You guys. I just read about him. Magritte. Rene Magritte. Max Ernst? No. Who did that one with the sleeping lady? Art teacher brain. I should say remote learning brain overload. All right. Her paintings seemed so different from those she had seen at MoMA. When she at last was ready to show her work in public, she invited all the friends she had made in New York. When she arrived at the gallery, a crowd was spilling out onto the sidewalks. Her friends lifted her into the air, shouting, "Yayoi, you've finally done it!" Word about her artwork spread quickly. Her friends told their friends, newspapers wrote about her work, and reporters clamored to interview her about the dots. Now she began to show them in other cities all over the United States and Europe. People walking away with the art at the gallery, and here she is on the cover of all the art magazines. She done it. She made it. Look, got her haircut right now. Hey. Her dots were covering the world. They appeared in Venice in thousands of dot-shaped mirrors scattered over a big green lawn. That would look really cool. Dot-shaped mirrors all over a lawn. Very cool. On a pumpkin on a pier. She made giant pumpkin sculptures. There's one outside the Hirshhorn Museum in D.C. On dresses and t-shirts, on people walking down the street, and mirrored rooms where glowing dots reflected and reflected again, an infinity of dots. Dots everywhere. Dot, 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 a lot. This is actually supposed to be like a little portrait of her. You see on the cover there. And here she is in one of her mirrored infinity rooms. So she would cover a room in mirrors, and the room wouldn't be much bigger than like a South Philly backyard. It'd be, I don't know, 100 square feet maybe? It's not a lot. Maybe less, maybe 50. And just covered in mirrors, and there'd be dots everywhere. And because there's mirrors on both walls, it just bounces back and forth. So it's like a, just looks like it goes on and on. It's so cool. Having visited many countries all over the world, Yayoi returned to Japan. The country had changed since she left, with many different artists challenging the old traditional style, as Yayoi had been doing all along. She painted a dog, actually, so that's a reference to her dog with dots on it. And other rooms, she would have a whole white room where she just painted the whole thing in dots. She still lives in Japan, and she continues to paint her dots every day. She was painting some dots. She just did a float or a balloon, an air balloon for something. I remember seeing that right before COVID happened, and then COVID happened and everyone got distracted. So she is still living and working. She, I think, just turned 91. I know when we were learning about her in class, she was 90, but I think she had a birthday. So I think she's 91 now. But here's some more of her pieces. So this one isn't dots, so that's a little something different. Infinity nest. Some plain dots. Here's a sculpture. And then here is a photograph of what one of her rooms look like. And it's not a big room. There's this little platform, that's what you can go and stand on, but other than that, it's a small box of a room. It's from 2013. Here's one of her white rooms with just dots everywhere. And if you went to one of her exhibitions, they had a white room set up similar to this and stickers, and you just go and put stickers everywhere, the dot stickers. Another plane. Okay. So I have a little history bit that I'm going to read to you. There she is, blending in with her room. The artist Yayoi Kusama was born in Matsumoto, Japan in 1929. For more than 60 years, she has made many different types of art, including drawings, paintings, photographs, and installation and performance works. Although scholars and critics have connected her to various styles, including pop art and minimalism, she's always thought of herself as distinct from these movements. Kusama's work is deeply influenced by the dreams and visions she had as a child, in which the world was covered in polka dots, and she covered her paintings, drawings, and sculptures with layers of dots, nets, squiggles, and stickers. She is widely considered to be the most popular artist in the world. Kusama, now 88 years old, this was older, so now she's 91, still goes into her studio, and she does, still goes into her studio and makes art every day. Millions of people all over the world, in North and South America, Europe, and Asia, visit her exhibitions and share photos of her work on the internet. The collection of the Museum of Modern Art, New York, includes examples of the artist's work in different mediums, spanning the course of her career from the 1950s to the present. Stay tuned for Making Our Own Infinity Room and Beyond. All right, so we are going to make a little sort of three-dimensional room, but first we need a square piece of paper. So I'm gonna get all these extra sheets out of here. I don't need all of these. So if you're familiar with making like a cootie catcher type of thing, you know you have to start with a square piece of paper. So I'm going to take this, fold it at a diagonal so that the corner is nice and lined up. All right. Lost my fold there for a second because I picked it up. And then I'm going to take this long rectangular flap, fold it over. If you have scissors, you can use those, or you can do the old-fashioned lick it and tear it thing, but I got some scissors, so I'm going to cut that off. Aside. Maybe you can use it for something else. So now that we have a square piece of paper, we are going to do two folds, one in the middle to go halfway. So line up your corners as best you can. Hopefully your cutting was close to perfect. Mine was not. A little extra there, so I'm going to try to trim that off. Probably making it worse. Whatever. All right, and then you can also fold in half this way or open it up again and fold it the other way. I'm just going to do it this way because it's easier. So you're just making it into a tinier square, and you're creating fold lines that you're going to use. All right, so when you open it up, you have the plus sign, ignore the diagonal. And one is going to be the wall, one is going to be the floor, and one is not going to be used at all. So I'm just going to draw with my pencil that cross so you can see it and know what I'm referring to in case you can't see my fold lines. But those are your fold lines. So this one we're not going to end up using. All right, this one I'm going to label as the wall. I'm just going to put it up there so I can erase it, and I think you should be able to see it. I think so. So the wall. And then this will also be a wall, and this will be my floor of my room. And what we then are going to do, and I'll go ahead and cut this so you can see. So where my floor is, the middle, this is the one I cut, only that part of the square, just that. And what will happen, I'm just going to create a crease here, going the other way, is we'll take it and fold it in that way. And this is going to be our three-dimensional room. So this is your floor. Doesn't really matter which direction you draw the floor. And this will be a wall and a wall. All right. But to draw on it, we need to keep it flat. So I am going to put a circle-shaped carpet on my floor because dots. And on my wall, I am going to put a window on one wall. Make sure my pencil is out. So I'm going to draw a square. You can do whatever you want on your wall. Window if you want. You can do a circular shaped window even. And in front of that window, I'm going to have a little table. And I'm going to make my carpet a little bit more decorative with some trim around the sides. You can do a rectangle, you could do hardwood floors, you could do multiple carpets. World is your oyster. I'm going to erase floor now that I know that that's the floor and this is a wall. I'm just going to erase it. I'm going to do a little bit more detail on my table, draw some back legs. And maybe I'll put a vase of flowers on top of it. The room can be any kind of room you want it to be. You could turn it into a bedroom, you could turn it into a dining room, a living room, whatever you want. Doing some more flowers that are wilting, some that are going to be standing up, just to give it a little something. I'm not doing it too realistic, keeping it kind of loose and cartoony and fun. My window, I think I'm going to throw in the window pane. That's sort of typical. Maybe I'll make it a 3-part window. Break it up even more. Oh wait, I think I'm gonna have to make it a 4-part. I didn't divide the space well enough. That's all right. One more there. There we go. That's more interesting. All right, so it's a 4-pane window. I'll put some molding around it. Table needs a little more depth. So there we go. Now it looks like that's actually sitting on the table. Lots of planes flying over today. I guess the airport's back to normal. Who knows? Crazy the amount. All right. So I got this rug, I got this wall, and then on the other, I'm like blinded by the white paper. I'm going to erase where it says wall. And on the other wall, I don't know, I think I'll draw, let's see, what would make this look cool? Okay, I'm going to do a painting hanging, maybe 2 paintings. So I'm going to draw 2 rectangles. Oh, you know what? No, I want a door. I'm going to put a door here. You can put whatever you want in there. I'm going to draw a nice tall door. Should have brought my big eraser out. And let's give it a half circle window. circle windows. And we need a doorknob and the little lock thingy. And maybe the sort of textured blocks, the Quaker's, not Quaker, Shaker style door. Great, so there's my door, and this will be a portrait perhaps, so I'm going to make it look like a fancy bougie frame. And let's put a person in there. I'm going to do a portrait of myself. Give myself my straight bangs like Yayoi has right now. I'm not going to get too realistic, keep it simple. Yeah. That's me. LOL. Alright, and I don't know, let's throw in an outlet to make it more realistic. Alright, so here is my room, and I'm not going to color in any of the room. I am going to outline it, and I'll speed that part of the video up, but then I'm simply just going to add dots everywhere to make it more like Yayoi. So I'm going to use Sharpies just because they're right here. And I'm just going to outline everything. So it's all outlined. I could then go now with an eraser and just kind of clean up any stray pencil marks. I'm not too worried about that though, because I don't have my big eraser out with me. Still not going to do anything with that. Next step is to add polka dots. You can do this however you want. I think I'm going to just keep one color per section, but you could go completely rainbow. You could go do one color or two colors per wall, floor, whatever. Maybe certain colors are only on an object, like maybe my rug is just this red-violet color, and then my table has a different color, and the rest of the floor has a different color. I think it makes a lot of difference if you do circles where they look like they're running off of something. So definitely think about that. Okay, so my rug is just that color. Throw a few in here. Definitely continue going more on that, but I think you guys will be able to handle that just fine yourselves. So I'm gonna just keep going, and you can just watch me as I go. I'm gonna speed the process up. All right, so I could absolutely keep on going with my dots to cover my walls, but I'm going to let you guys do that. You can put tape under here or glue, whatever you have to attach it. All right, and you see it's a little, make sure you can see this, okay, it's a little floppy right now. So I want to make sure I kind of recrease that so that the creases go the other direction. So I just push that down, make sure this fold, and then I can put a little piece of tape here. And then here is my affinity, I should say. I have the camera on and give you a little view of that. So there she is. I think it would definitely look really cool if I just did rainbow polka dots all on the walls. Again, I just taped that. You could use glue if you like. And I'm going to move the camera to my computer so you can pause here if you need to see the instructions that were shared by another art teacher. All right, so you can pause there if you need those instructions. Alrighty.